Anderson Square in Georgetown and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon. Another fantastic Friday as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. We'll have open line until we have guests, and we'll have, open line when we don't have guests. Hey, so guess what? 949-8037, 949-6990. We'll share with you some other numbers when we come back, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Afternoon, welcome, thank you for sharing. If you want your show is Friday, well, we're telling you this. If you wasn't a show for Friday and then you heard me start in the morning, you have to know it's either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. And if Monday was a holiday, then it's either Wednesday or Friday. If Monday and Wednesday passed, then it must be Friday. And if you wasn't sure it was Friday, well, if the day after the Saturday, then it must be Friday. Fridays is our very own Joel Wilson. We'll talk about Friday Fridays. We miss him, man. He is a good guy. He'll be here shortly with us. Well, let's have some open line here and Talk Today as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. Hopefully, you're doing what many say they can do, but the scientists say not successfully, despite what we tell ourselves. That is the multitask. But do it anyway. Put on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, and follow our parliamentary proceedings. Hear what our government has been up to. Look, listen, learn, and sometimes laugh, but not laugh to laugh at, laugh to laugh with, but laugh to recognize that as we live, perhaps we need to show a little bit of love. And as we love, perhaps we need to love genuinely from the heart of the agape love. And to see that our parliamentarians, many times, with respect, not just to these or those who have been there previously, but those who may want to be there in the future. That they posture and sometimes they try to position and present themselves in a way that they be appealing to the people. Because at the end of the day, they want to keep their jobs. They want to make an invaluable contribution. And we all would agree that they're there probably to, in their minds, to do the best job possible and better than anybody else. That's why they're there. That's why we elected them. So we hold them accountable as we draw alongside to be responsible. Let's take this call. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Hey, good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Excellent, man. How about yourself?
I giving God thanks,
Amen.
Beautiful,
amen.
Beautiful day, and I can't complain about absolutely nothing.
Well, if the complaint is to criticize, is one thing. The complaint is not just a compliment, but is actually to find a way to cement that which is good and to make it better for all. Then we can work together, right?
Well, a complaining person is a person that can't be satisfied, so I can be satisfied.
What's that song? Satisfy my soul in every little action. Come on.
You can keep singing. I'll do the talking.
Oh, hey, thank you for recognizing it as my attempt at singing. Most people were probably just willing to put their earplugs in, man. But we're singing from my heart.
I can tell you what, if you keep singing like that, you got a whole lot of people calling you. So
to stop, you mean?
Yes, just stop.
Well, hey, singers make money by singing. Maybe I can make money by being paid not to sing. I appreciate that advice.
I can tell you what, how we How we living in this country, we need more than one talent, so you better press.
Yeah. There you, well, now I have my potential retirement plan. I will threaten to sing publicly unless I'm paid not to.
You never stand on one lifestyle in this life, especially living in the Cayman Islands. I can tell you, don't know what it is.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
But just reflecting on this morning, I was talking to OCD on his show. With this point system that it's just something that I hope that they really deeply reconsider and not continue to push that. I mean, I will Googling up there in Australia. Australia have that same system in there. But the whole issue is we're going to end up eventually just driving with this, implementing these kind of systems into into these three little islands, whether you want to call it a country or you want to call it islands, whatever, we separated by water. So it to us, to some, it might seem like a beneficial to the islands in the future, but to me, it just seems like something that's going to devour the people of the Cayman Islands slowly. And I think that is what I am so up against, is for them to hark on that and try to continue it.
Right.
I really and truly, I don't want to be misconstrued with what I'm saying and anybody get me wrong, but what I am saying is, and I keep harking on the way that China has their regulations in their country, and a lot of other countries are slowly adopting that same way of how the Chinese doing it. If you take, for instance, New Zealand. Now, New Zealand has a similar government rules and regulations into their country. You got to be careful going into New Zealand. They're not as strict as China, but they're soon going to get to that point because they're realizing that the fluctuation of other nationalities are coming into their country and ruining their country of how New Zealand used to be, and that they had strong restrictions on it. It's for the outside world to come in.
Right.
That's why China did that. China clamped down where you can come and work in China, but you can't come and buy and build in China.
Right.
Now, you can rent an apartment or to live there while you work. And that's the reason they had to do that. Now, for us to go through this system that they want to add to the new everything that into the Cayman Islands, because I don't know how much more they expect to impale on us. But anyway, I am saying, no, my word mightn't mean much, but it's going to go a long way in time to come, and it's only going to affect the Caymanians and nobody else.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you if I might. I mean, we see Singapore just recently announcing something relative to increasing the tax on land purchases. We saw Canada restricting and doing likewise. We understand other jurisdictions have. But let me, in what you shared this morning, and I would invite people to always go back and listen to, comments from our talk shows if they can't listen to it as it's happening live, go to our YouTube channel there. But your comments this morning, and then the tourism minister, Mr. Bryan's comments relative to considering the removal of land and housing and physical property acquisition as a part of the points. Two questions. First, if we did that, what alternative do you think we should put in place, or how should we evaluate those individuals that we grant Caymanian status to? I mean, what is the criteria? What's the process? How do we go about it?
To start with that, Sterling, you got to remember that we are submitted into these three islands. We have no other alternative but to stay here. We can't jump ship and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even if we do so, we have to return. Those that are coming here have choices. When the government lay these things down, they have to remember it has to reflect around the people first. If you are doing for the people, then you can do for others that coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But why are they laying things down against the people and opening things up for the rest of the world to come in and flood the islands, and the people are left behind? Every time you listen to those politician meetings, those political meetings, or in the parliamentary building,
Mm-hmm.
you hear I'm talking about. We need to consider the people. How much years have come and how much years are going to pass that all you can hear they need to consider the people. How can you consider the people in your country if you are raising taxes, and people can talk about they're not raising no taxes because we don't be taxed? We are taxed in this country. I said it before, because if you read the fine print, they don't call it tax. They call it fees. You are raising everything against the poor man. He can't live in a home. He can't buy a car. He can't. Then they're saying, "Oh, we need to do this and do that for them to." How the people are going to do that when they don't have the income for them? The government needs to make sure that the people have an income, a proper income, in order to go and purchase homes and get themselves where they can keep them and their families afloat.
Mm-hmm.
But to make sure that the country is flourishing for the outside world, that's not benefiting the Caymanians. The Caymanians are suffering. If you're going to worry about what's coming in on the outside, you're not worrying about what's on the inside. You're drowning what's on the inside and keeping afloat those that are on the outside, and that makes no sense to the people. That is why you hear so much people come on and complaining. Sterling, we as people, we elected the government. We put them where they are. They made a vow to serve the people. Do what the people asked them. That was their vow to the people. Oh, we're going to do what they ask us to do because they're going to put us here. But as they gathered their strength and they got on the mountain, they look down in the valley and they say, you know what, I'm going to stay down below that. We don't need it no more.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of mentality, that is what's killing our people in our own islands here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about physical kill. I'm talking about financial kill.
Yeah. Displacing.
We are in a financial spiral here in this BC island, and we don't seem to have no help.
Yeah. Well, my friend, this is where I think increasingly we need to look at what we are and what we are expecting, how we're willing to get there, and is there a way to do it in such a way that we make the tough decisions, not in a vitriolic, resentful, sort of disrespectful way, but in a firm but fair manner, right? All right. And as we go into the break, any final quick comments, sir?
No, I just started. Just wanted to mention because, like I say, I was harking on it this morning.
Yeah,
All right, sir. And thanks a lot for your time, man.
Always, and I appreciate you making time and sharing with us. And we can talk again later. When we come back, I think we got some guests that we want to invite to the studio. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. And it's a pleasure once again to be able to focus and talk about the women of valor. In the studio, Coach Redwood together with Miss April. Coach April. Oh. Well, Coach Redwood, thanks so much for coming along, man, and sharing with us. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good for the thing is that in our society, sometimes when we look at our young people, in particular our young ladies, to be able to help them to physically develop at a sport, to become confident that we know that sport can do in terms of their progress, but also the team building, and to help them to navigate in a safe space. I commend you for your program. It seems like it's been 20 years you've been doing it, but how long has it been? The Women of Valor, close to that?
Women of Valor, yeah. It's going on 18 years.
I wasn't far off, boy. 18 years. And I know, Coach April, when you first got involved, you were a young sort of player, and you've matriculated through it. You've done your professional and academic education, but you continue to help to coach, nurture, mentor, inspire. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, tell us about the Women of Valor, Coach River, for those who don't know, but also tell us about ongoing and potential future programs. But what is the Women of Valor?
Well, the Women of Valor is a typical basketball club, but we try to add in other elements. We try to mentor our young ladies in making sure that they get proper education. We have talks with them about life. We take them on field trips other than basketball, to the museum, to the National Gallery, expose them to things that sometimes they wouldn't get exposed to at home, in terms, like even traveling,
That's the thing. And if I might, Coach April, if you don't mind, I'll be mindful that when I look at the two of you, I feel like I almost know you, in a sense. And to understand what sports can do for the individual, but team sports in particular. And as Coach Redville shared, the notion that you get to travel sometimes, not only outside of your country, but even within your country. And as small as Cayman is, a child who lives in East End or West Bay may, other than going to school, may find it a challenge to travel to the other end of the island, much less to the sister islands. So from your perspective, as an educator, you appreciate the importance of this classroom instruction, but the mentoring, the nurturing, the encouraging. So from a player in your early days to now the coach mentor today, what has that been like for you?
Well, it's been a journey. I never really thought I would be in the coaching position, but I guess it's very similar to teaching, and that's what I really wanted to do for a long time. So coming from player to coach, it's been kind of nice to have been coached under Coach Redver, and then now working alongside him. I guess I kind of know him from both perspectives. And I think we work hand in hand. I have been mentored by him, so I feel like a lot of his values, his approaches and stuff. Yeah,
right?
we're similar, and I agree with a lot of it. So yeah.
Thanks, Sheila. And I was kind of, without trying to lead you there, I'm glad that you went there, because Coach River, we as parents, adults, but in particular as coaches and teachers, the value system that we have, just like the parent, consciously and sometimes even unknowingly on our part, we impart that to our students, our children, our athletes. So that value system and the example that we, as adults, must possess and exude, but also instill, have to be of the highest caliber, because you're always on. You're always in uniform. You're always going to be front and center.
I'm trying my best.
No, you do without question, and I commend you. I remember you as a player, whether just in the pickup league to the national, to university, to your employment. But this goes beyond the commitment and obligation. This just seems to be a genuine, as April has, love to nurture young people, to bring them to a better space.
Yes.
That's why we always try to remind kids or people also, like everyone, that is yes, we coach basketball, but we are trying to mentor and help that young lady become who they are going to become. You know, it's more than the game.
The confidence that they have in life, the desire to try to excel beyond maybe the classroom or the basketball court. And I was thinking about our discussion today, and as much as I want to help you to celebrate the success, to showcase what you're doing, to invite the public to participate, there's this calling within me that I'm challenged to try to shrug off. The wider community and the adults, and respectfully, Coach Ridva, to the men in our community. Boy, there's a word I would like to use in terms of our behavior, but you guide me, sir, because you're much more eloquent and much more diplomatic. Are we failing and falling short of the mark as men, especially in our example and the interaction with the ladies in our lives?
In some respects, I think we are failing. One of the things that is a testament to that is I have group chats for all the teams and with all the parents, and I think I have 104 people in a group chat, and they're all moms except maybe 2 dads.
Yeah.
So that's something that it rubs me the wrong way, and I would like to see that change.
And I'm not sure how to do that. I mean, for me, I have to consciously, and if Ms. Susan doesn't mind me, she says to me, you need to get with the program with social media because there's a lot happening. So I struggle with that. For me, I prefer a book, physical book. I can touch the pages if I want versus some electronic device, right? I also recognize for me that even the work group chat, the family group chat, the things that are very important, I struggle to keep up with that. So the other group chats, I'm like, there's 2 that I'm on and I'm thinking, I don't know the last time I actually looked at it, and there are thousands of messages, and I'm missing a lot because I do not make time. So how do we navigate that space, as an example, where some schools, and a good friend reminded us, and I don't necessarily like to talk out of school, but because this has been weighing on my heart, we find it hard as the parent to keep up with what a child is doing because everything is electronic. The school work is submitted electronically, everything is done electronically, and we're like, where's the pen and paper? Where's the book? Where's the curriculum? Where's the thing? Not because we're old and set in our ways, but because it's a tangible thing. Then I liken that to the interaction of the other social, quote-unquote, things that are transpiring. But how do we navigate that, Coach Redville?
Man, I'm in the same boat as you. So I would like to defer that question to Coach April, who is an educator and a lot younger.
Well, I mean, if you prefer paper, I guess there could be a request. I mean, we if somebody requested, could you hand out the sheet, the newsletter in paper to my child? I think that wouldn't be a problem. We do talk to the kids a lot, and I think we need to remind them to also communicate with their parents, because it's just like a 5-minute chat to, hey, we have a game on Saturday. Just reminding the parents, stuff like that, I guess.
Okay. And I was thinking of that as I asked, and perhaps sometimes we hear proof is in the pudding. So with your program, we can see the training, then we can see the competition, we can see the travel. So maybe those of us who don't necessarily make time, don't feel that we have time to engage in all the banter that goes on in the social media sphere, we can physically attend. We can dare to cheer in the background. We can help, whether we're the mom or the dad, with the bake sales. We can come out and make sure the child gets to the practice and to the game, but we can be present in the stands. Is that sufficient happening in our wider community, both as an educator and as a coach, Miss April?
Sometimes, and I feel like the sometimes it also is like the same people over and over. So it's not even like a variety of people. It's just like those people that can commit. They're fully committed. And I don't know. Maybe parents need to talk to each other and encourage each other to come out and support.
Coach Riva, I'll be mindful to both of you because of the many hats that you wear, but when I look at our wider community, I think that's a challenge, that we're not communicating, we're not actively engaged. We might, with ease or with great sacrifice, write a check for the amount of money someone to support or somehow assist financially. But that time to actually be in the stand, to clap and to cheer and to shout, or to be at practice to make sure that there's more than just one car taking every child home, it's a real concern.
Yeah, it is. So I would love for us to be able to have our stands packed every Saturday or every Sunday when we have games. But I mean, even the kids will tell their parents, "Oh, I don't want you to come to the game because I get too nervous." And their parent will be like, "Okay, I'm not coming." And it's like almost like a relief for them to say that, so we don't show up. But these kids really need you to be there, even when they say they don't want you there. Eventually, the more you come to the games, the more they'll get used to it. And one of the problems that we have as a society when it comes on to sports is the moment we get in a gym or in a football field that has more than 50 people in the stands, we climb up. And we climb up because we're not used to having those people in the stands cheering for us or even booing you to say, well, hey, I'm used to this. That's nothing. You know, I rub off my back. I can keep going. Like
growing up too, like I used to tell my mom not to come too, but she was there every time. And like looking back now, everybody would always talk about it, and my mom being there with her pots and pans. Like it's just a memory that you can look back on. And
it's true cheering for everybody.
Yeah, and it made me feel like I gotta play hard. Like my mom's on the stand.
Okay. Like I know we're gonna break, but I want to ask, and you can share, April, if you wish. But Coach Vejo, thinking back like that, initially the child, you know, no, I want my parents there because I can feel this way. But I'm of the view, and April alluded to it, that not only is the child becoming comfortable, they're actually expecting now. And I remember, I won't call names, Coach Ridgeville, I won't call names, but there are some players way back when they would be looking to see if the parent was in the stand, and only when they saw the parent that they relaxed and was excited. Are you willing to agree with that? That whereas initially, as you said, the parent is told, no, don't come, and the child, you know, feels better. But in short order, once the child sees the parent is there, the child feels more comfortable and is expecting now the parent to come.
So it's a weird thing, but normally what happens when you see kids get like that is because the parent did show up to a game. And then when the parent showed up, they did something really well, like hit a game-winning shot or hit a three-pointer that caused, you know, the game to turn or something. And they turned around and relate that to, that's because my mother was in the stands. So now I want my mother in the stands all the time because I'm going to keep hitting that three. You know, so it's
Thank you. From the coach and from the player's perspective, and hopefully as a parent, I know we have demands, and I know we have some employers that are demanding in some work schedules. I understand that. But if we can make time, and there are parents who do, I commend them. I don't know how they find time to be at everything and be involved. But there are more of us, and we need to be that. So when we come back from the break, can you share a few minutes with us? We got some stuff coming up. There's a house league. You traveled in February, I think. There are things happening. Can you share with us?
Yes.
All right. I'm always excited when we're talking about our young people and we can encourage them. So join us, please, right after the break.
Are you kidding me?
Hey girl, what's wrong?
My eyeliner foundation just ran out and I have to leave Savannah in 15 minutes.
That's easy. Just stop at Savannah Pharmacy. That's where I get all of my makeup and for a great price too.
Really?
Really, girl. Where are you going?
To Savannah Pharmacy, duh.
Wait, I'm coming too. Ran out of my favorite nail polish.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Savannah Pharmacy is just around the corner with everything you need and the hours you need it. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. We are here as a team to assist you while taking care of your health. Call us today at 946-3336.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better. They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new Boneless Hot Sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to the Coach Vidva and Coach April for coming in, share with us about the Women of Valor. And as we talk, I know we hit the news at 1, but I want you to share, and thank you for your time. So, Coach Vidva, first with you. I mean, you started the program, you have a wonderful team of coaches who are former your players, and an excellent team of parents who are supporting. Tell us more about why we're here, what we're going to be doing as we leave.
So, I'm going to let Coach April explain that part to you about why we're here in the House League and stuff like that.
Right.
But I have to say that, so one of the reasons why I am going to let her do that is we have actually passed our academy program over to Coach April.
Mm-hmm.
We feel that she was ready to take that next step and, get more responsibility as a coach. So I have taken a back seat to our academy program to allow her to bring fresh new ideas and, just be there to support her instead of me having to do it. So,
can I, if you'd allow me through you to compliment April? She showed leadership skills as a player very early on.
Yes.
Early age, and then as she, got on into her teens and no longer in her teens, but still young. She showed that leadership. But to you in the program, you have to develop and nurture that. You delegated, you gave responsibility. And it's not just about succession planning and the benefit of the program continuing beyond the individual. So I commend you for that. And I wanted to say that so that we, in whatever program, whether it's our working environment, and we talk about succession planning, whether it's in an organization. And I know other service clubs have it, but because it's probably so evident within the Lions Club, they'll have a president and about 500, first, second, third, fourth, fifth vice presidents. And it's that succession plan that helps to train and nurture. And now that you're in charge of the academy program, it just shows that development and the training and the opportunity to be nurtured and the confidence that you get and the abilities that you develop. And it comes to where, you're at the helm. So congrats.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us about the House League. Tell us about the academy program. Just talk to us, man. Tell us.
So we're having our in-house league starting in May. We've been training now for 2 terms. So we've been training. We've been having our academy since the beginning of the school year in August or September. So we have already gone through 2 terms of training, practicing, skill building, all of that stuff. So now our next step is to put it into action, and we've come up with our in-house league where all our young girls that have been training, and we still inviting and looking for more girls to come and join us, no matter your skill level, no matter if you just want to try it out, this is your first time. This is where we are now putting all that into action. And even though we are testing their skills, we're still building on that. So things that you still struggle with, we're still practicing that and trying to build to get you better and better every day. So we're not saying that these girls they already know it all. We're still building their skills and their growth and development now.
Maybe we're not necessarily looking for the next Lisa Leslie or April, but we're helping. So it's just for young ladies?
Yes, so it's for girls ages, let me just look at this sheet so I don't get everything wrong.
5 to 15? That's good.
No, 6. It's girls ages 6 to 12. Every Saturday at the CIS ARC, Kimana Bay School, the ARC, the inside gym. Saturdays 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. 6 to 11-year-olds.
6 to 11.
Yeah, and any skill level, you don't have to, maybe it's your first time trying it out. We're still inviting you to come out and just try it out, see how you like it, see what's going on.
Now, for those who are familiar with it and they understand, for those who are listening and would say, well, if you started in your house league in May, I was one of my daughter, my granddaughter, my niece, that 6 to 11-year-old young lady to be a part of it. Never played before, perhaps not even sure that they like sports or whatever, or play another sport. 2 questions. You say it's not too late, come on out. Secondly, how do they get more information? Who do they contact?
Okay, well, we already started our academy, so we've been training. So if you want to try it out this Saturday, you can come out. We'll be there at CIS at 10 o'clock. So we already started. We have some training sessions before our league actually starts, so it's not too late at all. So if you want to contact us, you can contact us at wovhoops @gmail.com. Send an email to that email, and we can respond to you. Or if you want to call us at 939-7820, call or text. That'll be another response too.
Yeah. And then, come on, Coach, I know you're delegating.
We also have our Instagram page. I'm surprised she didn't mention that one first.
Me too.
Me being the person who's not social media savvy.
So our Instagram is WOV, W-O-V basketball. You can find us Instagram and Facebook as well.
And that WOV is Women of Valor.
Women of Valor, yeah.
Or a few of SBA Women of Valor, but it's WOV. No, but I'm hoping that in particular, as we listen, that we're talking about programs for young people, but for our young ladies to build in them self-confidence. The world that we find ourselves is an interesting, not necessarily a better space, but it would be if we get more positive involved. And this is good for the young ladies. It builds within them self-confidence, helps them to self-develop, helps them to become self-aware. But it also, you've been through it. It's a good program.
Yeah, it's good habits, not just physically, because I still like time management and all that other stuff that we learn besides basketball. I'm still using it now, so yeah.
Now, Coach River, many times, there are many of us who are listening, and we want to be able to support something, sometimes it's, for us, the easiest thing to do is to put money in the program. And I commend those who are willing to do that. Some, they may have some other way to contribute. Could your program benefit from a person's time or their talent or their treasure? I mean, can we get involved if we're listening and we would like to be a part of the Women of Valor program?
Yes, we are in need of persons who are willing to spend time helping with fundraisers. We have a fundraising team that we would love to develop some more. Definitely an area, because obviously to run a program, so we're doing kids from ages 6 all the way to adults. So to have all these programs running, it costs money. And I will admit that over the years I used to put a lot of my own money into it, but obviously that is not something that's feasible that you can continue to do. So we really are looking to get corporate sponsors on board and or people willing to help us with fundraisers.
Yeah. I hope that in saying this helps, doesn't hinder. Commend you, almost 2 decades. Anyone knows that anything that is done consistently, anyone who's involved in any activity, it takes a lot. And as you said, it's not sustainable for one individual. Very much like the school teacher, who we all accept and know, always digs into her pocket to complement whatever resource the classroom needs, or to supplement it in some way, or to do something. No fanfare, just like what you've been doing. And it may be us supporting the good, baked goods and helping. Yep. But there's more that we can do and should do from the travel that you've, given many of the young ladies an opportunity that, but for that, they probably wouldn't have gotten to travel as much. And it's not just that child who has a very loving and nurturing environment, or the child that we assume has, less than loving and nurturing environment. All the children are equal in their benefit. And I really, really, really admire what you've done in the program, the dedication, the determination, the commitment. And I hope that we can continue it, man.
So this Saturday, 10 a.m. at CIS in the Arc inside gym. We'll be out there. If you want to check us out, send us an email at wovhoops@gmail.com if you need any more information.
So all the social media would be there, Instagram.
Basketball, yeah.
All right.
WOV basketball.
Coach Ridva, as the year continues, and as long as I can assist in a way, let me know. Hopefully people listening would appreciate that when it comes to young people and our young leaders in particular. There's an obligation, to step up, stand in the gap, and to help, because we could all use a little bit of insight, guidance, counsel, direction.
Yes, definitely.
It doesn't matter who we are. We can always benefit from good people in our lives, right? Closing thoughts, Coach Ridva?
One of the things that I would also like to say before we go is that I know that there is this stigma about sports and girls and all of that stuff, and I notice that the parents put a lot more pressure on girls in terms of academics, and they'll let the boys run up and down. And so I have no problem with boys showing up for basketball practice, never. But the girls, I feel that this country, believe it or not, we have some phenomenal female athletes, and I don't think that we are tapping into to that potential as much as we should be. And I just hope that parents, organizations, the government, and everybody sees this as something that we should be pushing a lot more for.
Thank you. And thank you too, Coach April.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. Well, let us know what we can do going forward. And again, congrats on not just the commitment, but the consistency and the continued effort at helping our young ladies in particular. So Saturday, which is tomorrow, they come out, be a part of it, 6 to 11-year-olds from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. WOV Gmail, is it? Yep. Hoops@gmail.com.
WOVhoops@gmail.
There you go. All right. Blessings to you both. After the talk today, stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park will be closed on Monday, May 1st to facilitate CUC upgrades in the area. They will reopen for regular business hours on Tuesday, May 2nd. In international news, a wave of Russian airstrikes on cities across Ukraine has left at least 25 people dead. 23 people, including 4 children, were killed in an attack that hit a block of flats in the central city of Uman, officials said. Ed Sheeran sang and played guitar to a New York jury at a civil trial that will decide whether he copied Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. For roughly an hour, Sheeran described his entire musical career and performed parts of the song in question, Thinking Out Loud. Heirs of Gaye's co-writer are claiming that he stole elements of the chart-topping hit. Heirs of Gaye's co-writer Ed Townsend argue that Sheeran, Warner Music Group, and Sony Music Publishing owe them money for allegedly stealing the song. If the jury finds the pop star liable for copyright infringement, the trial will enter a second phase to determine how much he owes. Sheeran is expected to resume his testimony on Monday. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman-Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbetts. As a young boy, he attended Weston Primary School, then later Gainstead High School in Jamaica, when the family moved there to be closer to his dad, who was chief engineer on Cockernel ships. During school breaks, he would work at Hannah's haberdashery store as a wrapper. Wanting to be a seaman and engineer like his dad, shortly after his 16th birthday, Royce would join his dad on the Cockernel ship, the Kirk Pride, as a messman, later working on other Cockernel ships. For Bawden Shipping on the Merkel, National Bulk Carriers, West Indian Towing Company, and West Indian Lines. Mr. Dilbert would enroll at National Technical School, and at age 25, he achieved his chief engineer license. By this time, Royce had worked his way up the ranks from BR messman to wiper oiler, fireman, second and first engineer to chief engineer.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and it's a pleasure to take the next half hour thereabouts to spend and to learn a good lot. Always a pleasure to welcome Reverend Yvette Noble Bloomfield to the studio. Good afternoon to you, Mom. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Good to see you as always.
Thank you, Mom. I feel like when you say it's not only refreshing and reassuring, it's something that I think is said with such reverence and respect that as a people we want for it to resonate with others in a way that reminds us that to whom much is given, much is required. And we need to stand in the gap. So thank you, Mom.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's for me an opportunity to be grounded, to be ever motivated, and to stand with a sense of persistence and perseverance, that we look in the mirror and we have that courage as we're being nurtured. And there's something about having a chat with you. So let me see where it takes me.
That's
and
too much.
Who others.
I want to say good afternoon to our listeners, and thank you so much on Radio Kema and Miss Norma for having us in studio this afternoon.
Oh.
We're joined by the moderator of the United Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, the Right Reverend Gary Harriott, and by Mrs. Rose Wedderburn, who is the Regional Deputy General Secretary for the Northeastern Regional Mission Council. In short form, Rose and I are colleagues, meaning that we occupy the same position. I occupy the position in the Cayman Islands and she in the Northeastern region of Jamaica. And we have two other colleagues who, one is here for Synod and the other remained in Jamaica. So Dwayne, our Synod, our 43rd Synod, started last Sunday on the 23rd of April, and we go through until this Sunday, the 30th of April. And I'm going to invite our moderator and Mrs. Wedderburn to share some of the highlights, our synodical theme, and some of the activities we've had so far.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Reverend Yvette, and greetings, Dwayne, and it's great to be here. As I was mentioning to you before, I served in Eastern and Gun Bay between 91 to 97, so I've come back one or two times, but coming back in this capacity as moderator of United Church. So it's good to be back to my second home that has so much memories. And I also want, on behalf of the Synod of the United Church, to express our profound thanks to the government of the Cayman Islands and the people for the welcome and the hospitality. The transition in has been really wonderful. The fellowship has been great. And I really just want to say thanks on behalf of the United Church. The last Synod took place some 36 years ago in Cayman. We're hoping that it will not be like that for the future. There's a new policy now that we will rotate the Synod, and the Synod meets every 2 years, so it shouldn't take us 36 years to get back to Cayman. But the Synod is the highest decision-making body of the United Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. That's where the major decisions are thought through and agreed upon, and then that provides the direction for the church into the future, at least in the immediate for the next 2 years until the Synod comes back together again. So that's, in a sense, why we have been here. And it was a blended Synod, so COVID has taught us quite a bit. And so it was a blended gathering. So we had some persons gathered here in Cayman, some of the Caymanian delegates, and some of the Jamaican delegates. And then we had most of the delegates online. Mm-hmm. So that's how we functioned over the past days. And we gathered around the theme, rooted, resilient, reignited by the Spirit. And it was a call and a reminder to us as church that we must remain rooted in Christ. Mm-hmm. That we have to be a resilient church, and COVID-19 challenged us in that direction, that, challenges will come, but we have to learn how to pivot, how to bounce back. And so it has been a learning experience for us as church. And we have a sense of the need for some new energies and life in the church. And so we are turning to the Spirit again for a renewal, a reigniting by the Spirit, so that we become even much more engaged and active in the lives of our congregations and the communities we serve.
Ms. Rose, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Dwayne, and to Radio Cayman listeners. Good to be here.
Thank you, for sharing, and even though I have close family and friends, and occasionally have fellowship from time to time in the congregation, I always find that the more we look within and the more we look around, the more that we recognize similarities and the like. And with great respect to all of us in position of power, especially as parents, we tend to become imbued in our own eyes with this sense of greatness and this accomplishment, and this power almost intoxicates. Before I say more, Ms. Rose, jump in. Rescue me from my own words.
Okay. Well, just to start that, as servants of the church, one of the things we have to recognize is that we serve with humility. So nothing about power in us in the church. But just to say, in terms of the activities this week, one of the things we do at Synod when we meet is to honor some of our servants in the church, and it was our privilege and pleasure to honor some of the Caymanian delegates who have served the church faithfully and well over many years. So we recognize Mr. Brian Bothwell, who was Deputy General Secretary of the region and served faithfully and well for a number of years, and a public lecture was held in his honor as well. We also recognize two other lay persons in the church, Mr. Heber Arch, who is well known here, and Mrs. Alice Kirchman. And just to encourage, others in their service, not only in the church community per se, but how they serve their communities.
Yeah, and we also honored Mr. Handel Whitaker from the William Pucci congregation with the lay awards. The award to Mr. Arch was a particular synodical award, which there was another person in Jamaica who was honored simultaneously, Mr. Radley Reed, who is the former principal of Campion College, but a stalwart servant in the United Church. So Mr. Heber Arch here in Cayman for his contributions to the Cayman United Church Corporation, and Mr. Reed for his services to education. And so in the scheme of things, we were able to not only recognize those servants, but each member of the clergy and the staff of the church received certificates of resilience, because the church, when COVID-19 started, and you would remember the kind of lockdown, I think for 12 weeks we couldn't be in church on a Sunday at all. And our ministers, both here in Cayman and in Jamaica, found very creative ways to have the service online, to use WhatsApp groups, to ensure that the faith continued. And out of that experience, we have had new members come in who normally would not have interacted with the church, but because they could see a service on YouTube or they could get a WhatsApp message, people have responded to Christ. People have been baptized during this period. Persons have become communicant members, online communicant members. And so the church is evolving. We are, and the moderator particularly is speaking about the church as a movement, not a monument. And so Reverend Gary, maybe if you could share some of those perspectives as well.
Well, I suppose I could share with Dwayne and the listeners that connecting with the Cayman culture, the sea life of Cayman, we have used the ship as a focal point to guide our reflections over the period. So at Emsley, where we gather, and at Savannah, there's a catboat, and there's always a symbol each day to remind us that we're really on the move.
Yeah.
And in connecting to the idea of ship, we have looked at some other ships within the life of the church. And so there's a focus on worship, how we renew the worship life of the church. There's a focus on the fellowship, how we help people to have a sense of belonging to this community. Stewardship, how we use the resources that God has blessed us with, our intellect, our material resources, all that we have, how we make those available to the service of God. And then discipleship, how we help people in their followership of Jesus as students or disciples in the faith. So the message that we're communicating to our congregations is that we really want to be a church that is on the move, that is not relaxed and comfortable where it is, but looking for new opportunities to reach people and to represent the cause of the gospel.
As you shared, I mean, as I look at the physical structure of Amherst United and Westby United, just the interior, you look up at the ceiling, you see we see not just a symbolic or a homage to our past, maritime history, but maybe the reminder of the connectedness that we could have. And I wonder, as I was just listening to Ms. Rose share, that amount of time that we put in sometimes as people, the posturing. I wonder where we are in our sincere, public pronouncements. Whether it's the politician, whether it's the pastor, whether it's the parent or some other, public pronouncement. Are we sincere? Are we willing to do what the scripture says and say, if you don't acknowledge me publicly, I'm going to ignore you altogether because, you're not here. And many of us are good at lip service, but fail miserably at standing in the gap. Ms. Rose, you hear my heart.
Yes, and sometimes, people talk about the church and that we sometimes don't, walk the talk. But we realize that we are not perfect, but we encourage our members and all who we come in contact with to live that life of faith that we are encouraged to live. As the moderator talked about being on the move, we are challenging ourselves to be not just talkers and make pronouncements, but to implement and to do. And in particular, we want to focus also on our children and youth and how we come alongside them, recognizing, all the impact COVID-19 has had on our young people and our children, and that we need really to pay special attention to them and enable them to feel that they are welcome and that their voices can be heard in our spaces as well.
If I might, because I think sometimes we don't appreciate that, whether it's the business conference because of the industry, or it's a particular professional association that has gotten together, or it's a church plenary or otherwise, that the need, and with great respect, not just to you as individuals in your position, but your acumen, guide me. I wonder to what extent we as the adults, when it come into our example to our children, by the fruits you shall know them, we're told. Are we courageous enough to stand in the gap and to think back to what I call, the house arrest that everybody was under? And I do that deliberately because, to an extent, that's what it was akin to. There were laws and regulations that said, you can't do this, and if you do this, here is the penal sanction. If you do it, we're all reasonably compliant. We all hopefully are thinkers and ask questions and want to be law-abiding and civil and the like. And we saw probably the greatest example of the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. We saw businesses pivot relative to delivering services. We saw churches relative to the sermons. But I wonder to what extent we were willing as a church to be that moderator for the community, to be that advocate for the community, to share with our legislators in prayer, but also to admonish behaviors, to correct and chastise and counsel when necessary. And before everyone jumps in, Ms. Rose, we saw it in Cayman, as we saw it in every other jurisdiction, almost the same complicit behavior, and the questioning privately by some, and the castigating by others publicly who asked questions, and we sat there, deaf, dumb, and blind.
Yeah, it's a challenge to us, but I think we have to be courageous and bold and to challenge when we see those things and not allow it to just go by. I think we have to.
Yeah.
A part of the whole issue of advocacy that has also featured strongly in the Synod is that we have to be prepared to engage people at various places. And in fact, there will be a point I will make in the sermon on Sunday evening about this church of the New Testament, empowered by the Spirit, was prepared to speak to the powers. And the church also needs to be prepared to be able to speak truth to power. And we're very concerned, I mean, same thing in Jamaica as well, that those of us who are in leadership, whether in church or government, state, whatever, we have to recognize how important it is to lead by example. So we can't be saying one thing to the people, and especially modeling a poor behavior to our children, and expect them now to be well-rounded, disciplined citizens. So we need to recognize that we're not just there to do the things that governments are supposed to do, pass laws and so forth, but even in our conduct of ourselves, we must represent the best of ourselves, and we must hold each other accountable.
But it's not to what extent we're doing, either deliberately or unconsciously. We're saying one thing and doing something that's opposite. We're leading society to look at us as church, as parents, as parliamentarians. Look at the hypocrisy, and then, well, is that not what we're doing?
Well, I wouldn't say that's all that we do.
No, not all. Is that not what we're doing? We're also doing that.
Right, we do that, and I'm saying that we must do the introspection to recognize that we must model the best of ourselves, because that will help those children and young people who are watching us.
Right.
So even as we debate strongly about an issue, we must still be respectful to each other, because that is what is going to help our younger generation how to love and respect each other, by just looking at how we conduct ourselves and model.
So look within before we criticize others.
And the truth is that if I become biblical, all have sinned and fallen short.
Yeah.
And we have to rely on the Holy Spirit to guide us. What I hear in what you're asking us is the deep hypocrisy that does exist, where there are persons who are known to be Christians, who so live their lives that it will make the non-Christian question our sincerity and would say, this whole church is a sham, because the Christians are doing those things, and then the other Christians may seem to be accommodating them. But the truth is also that persons may not see the chastisement and the correction, because as a church we certainly would not trumpet that, we have disciplined this person or that person, but there is quiet discipline that does go on, and we help persons to seek the Spirit in order to modify their behavior. I think sometimes people don't see the quiet work of the church, and they believe that because somebody is a member of our church or somebody is a Christian, that we have allowed them free passage to do and to say whatever it is that they want. And the converse is what the truth is, that we do discipline members, and we do remind persons of their baptismal vows, and we do ask persons to so live their lives, as the moderator has said.
So praise in public, chastise in private.
Yes, yeah.
And in saying that, perhaps the other side of that potential coin, those who stand publicly to do that, to be that example, I wonder to what extent the wider community, including the church community, willing to draw alongside and say, you know what, that person is standing in the gap. We're going to support them, even though the individual is feeling slighted because of our own personal indiscretions and misbehavior, misdeeds and missteps and the like. And if I may just continue a little bit and say that we have come to recognize that when one known Christian commits this public sin, is an indictment on the entire church. And we have to follow some biblical principles about forgiveness, about accompaniment, about saying to somebody, you have sinned. Like David, King David was wretched. But here we also have King David being called the man after God's own heart. It doesn't justify, and I want that to be clear, it's not a justification of behavior that is a poor example to community, to young people. It's not a justification, but it's an understanding that the realm in which we function, there is grace. Because there go any one of us except for the grace of God. And so I don't want anybody to interpret this conversation as providing excuse for people, but also to talk about a measure of grace which God grants to each of us.
and can help in terms of people's restoration. Because, you know, when you have gone down the wrong road and there's nobody to redirect you and to help you back, you're just likely to just keep going further and further down the road. So we have to be a people who accompany others and again help them to recapture a vision of what God intends for them, and especially when you have responsibility for leadership, that's sacred responsibility. And if people go off target, then you help them to get back online and to serve to the best of their abilities.
I think then, as I listen to you, I'm even more mindful of something that I apply to me and trying to guide and navigate my actions and my thoughts. I say to my closest friends, you know, hopefully, respectfully, and certainly not in any way that is offensive to the scripture. But I said, I've interpreted, lead me not into temptation, for I shall find it myself. I don't need you to help me to go astray and to do bad. I can do it all by myself. I need you to draw alongside and remind me and guide me. Help me, if you're a true friend, listen, you over here, and this is not where you need to be. You know, or if you don't know, now you know, and this is where we are. So that we help each other to navigate, you know, the canals of life as they were, because they're not just channels.
Yeah. If I may put into the conversation to doing two other areas of wrestling that we had at the Synod. One, our ministry to men. That occupied quite a bit of our conversation, and out of concern that, you know, so many of our young men, middle-aged men, older men, for whatever reason, are not there in the life of the church. So that has challenged us and to rethink how do we create a ministry that's attractive to men. One of the other areas is the whole issue of health and wellness. We had a presentation in one of the sessions that spoke to the ill health or the poor health of our people in the region and the non-communicable diseases that are a challenge to us in this part of the world, and how as church we need to take an active role in helping our people to live healthier lives. So those are things that we are taking away, that we have quite a bit of work to do in those areas.
All right. I do recognize that for me, this, like I said, was a learning experience, and hopefully encourages and empowers, and I trust that those who are listening don't feel I was overly selfish in trying to consume your time. But Reverend, I know you have other things. We do have the break. Shall we continue after, or do you need to take leave and find higher ground?
I think we could wrap it here.
We could wrap it up?
Yes,
all right.
thank
But
you.
through you, Mom, closing thoughts?
Thank you so much. The Synod closes this Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. at the Emsley Memorial Church. And just for some statistics, we had 38 persons from Jamaica who joined us. And in total, we had over 212 persons online who were delegates of the Synod. So whereas the 38 from Jamaica joined another 40 from here in Cayman, then online, the total was 212. Our business sessions were held at the Savannah United Church, and really some rich conversations, discussions, and we have set the course for the next synodical period, which begins now through to 2025. And for the church here in Cayman, for our 9 congregations, we certainly have a mandate to work with and to continue our ministry and mission here in this fair land. We want to thank our moderator. This is his second term as moderator.
So every 38 years?
He was first moderator in 2021, so he was reinstalled on last Sunday, and he was served through until 2025, and he has been a moderator with vision for the church and someone who has really charted a path for us. And the moderator is the pastor of the pastor, as well as the overall person to whom we look. We look to Christ, of course. Christ is the head of the church. But in human terms, our moderator leads the church, and our general secretary, the Reverend Norbert Stevens, was also here on Isla, and Mrs. Janet McConnell, another of our 4 regional deputy general secretaries. So we invite persons to join us at 4 at Emsley for our closing service this Sunday.
Always a pleasure, Reverend Ms. Rose. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And You know, I can see why you were hosting previously. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the Friday and a very blessed weekend and another, successful synod. So, to our listeners, when we return, what shall we do, Miss Susan? I'll be telling you about that when we come back. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Here at Savannah Pharmacy, our pharmacists do a lot more than just count out your pills and fill prescriptions. They undergo extensive education in the study of how the human body uses and responds to medicine. They have also built up years of experience in real-life counseling on how to take medication safely. Our pharmacists are on the front lines in keeping our society healthy. Don't risk it or hesitate. Contact us or schedule a consultation with one of our pharmacists today. At Savannah Pharmacy, we care about your health.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
It's time to celebrate 40 years of Cayman Carnival Batabanoo. 40 years of tradition, culture, making history. Experience the rhythm, the energy, the excitement of Batabanoo under the theme All Nations One Celebration. On Saturday, May 6th, celebrate Cayman Islands, Honduras, Jamaica, India, Cuba, Panama, Mexico, Trinidad, and the U.S. through music, dance, and stunning costumes. The parade starts at 1 p.m. from 7 Mile Public Beach and ends at Seafarers Way, Georgetown. For the food festival and the last lap street dance with 3 music stages to enjoy. Cayman Carnival Batabanoo, Saturday, May 6th, starting at 1 p.m. from 7 Mile Beach. Join us celebrating 40 years of a colorful melting pot of nations. Visit CaymanCarnival.com for more information.
Attention all runners and walkers. It's time to lace up your shoes and join us for our annual Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge Run Walk event. Whether you are a seasoned runner or just looking for a fun way to get some exercise, this event is for you. Join us on April 30th in Grand Cayman. Do something good for your body and have some fun while supporting our local community. Proceeds benefit Loud Silent Voices, the Cayman Islands Red Cross, and the United Against Bullying Foundation. The DG's 5K could not happen without support from our platinum sponsor, Appleby, and gold sponsors, Butterfield, Credit Union, DART, Davenport Development, EY, and our halfway point sponsor, Cynical. $25 for adults and $10 for kids 17 and under. Register at www.racecaribbean.net. Don't miss out on this opportunity to have fun, get fit, and support our community. See you at the start line.
105.3 Breeze FM live. Now it's an Man Bushman representing for 105.3 Breeze FM.
Hey, this is DJ Lynn. Join me Sundays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 for Beach and Reggae Sundays. Whether you're out in a boat, in the backyard, or simply on the beach catching some sun, it's the perfect way to unwind for the weekend as the sun sets on our beautiful Caribbean Sea. Join us this Sunday from 2 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 Beach and Reggae Sundays.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for sharing with us. The schedule indicates that we have the remaining hour dedicated to our listeners is open line as we go to the phones, I believe. Good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, I think that's a... It is. That's a familiar voice. How are you, Mr. Songman? How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in, hanging out, and hanging on.
Well, if you let go, there's two things for sure. You won't be holding on anymore, and the ground may or may not hurt when you land.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you.
Thank you very much. But I'm a little disappointed the fact that you had some guests on there that I wanted to pose a question to.
Okay.
And it seems as if I don't know. I understand here in the Cayman Islands it's disrespectful. I'm sure that to question anyone's belief or anyone's anyone's choice of worshiping some make-believe entity. You're not supposed to question that. But the question I wanted to pose is do you or the guest that you had in the studio, do you know what the body count in Kenya, in a little place called Malindi, where they're exhuming human bodies for the last few days? Have you heard that story?
I don't know the body count, and
but you're aware of the story.
Just from the media accounts.
They
Yeah.
didn't have anything to say about that in all of their discussions.
Yeah. No, I always try to do two things. One, to listen, to understand, and two, provide a space for people to share their perspective. I don't always understand everything, and there are times when, in my lack of knowledge, I will try to go and do some further study. Now, recent times, I have not allowed myself to do that because, really and truly, I don't know how it adds value to what I have already on the plate. But if you have time, share with me and perhaps our listeners your thoughts and how that's transpiring in your life and your own thought process and how it's impacting you. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a better insight.
As to how I feel about that?
As you wish to share, yes.
Yeah, well, I would like to point out the fact that religion and people's fundamental attitude toward religion does more harm in this world than it does good. It has done more harm in this world than it has done good. And I think it is unfortunate that any human being, I don't care what kind of seminary he's attended and what kind of degree he may have from any theological seminary. He has absolutely no right to go around telling a lie as to any human being dying and going to any place called heaven. And to put that in people's head and then to put the fear of a hell in people's minds is another unfortunate and dangerous thing for humans to do to humans. And that is all it actually comes down to, Sterling.
Yes, sir. I mean, there are people who would agree with you, like there are others who would vehemently disagree with you. But if I may ask, you mentioned religion. To your mind, is there a difference between religion and a relationship?
The difference between relationship with what?
Well, this is in asking
relationship with the supernatural, or religion about a supernatural.
Well, religion from the perspective of
either one makes no sense. To have a relationship with something supernatural or a belief in a supernatural.
That's right. Right. I mean, and it's one thing I like with when you and I are chatting, the ability to listen to each other, and I always appreciate not just the respectful tone that you have relative to your conversation with me, but your willingness to speak as you see it, right? And not just from the Cayman context or the Western sort of approach to ideology and theology and the like, but when we look at society, and especially in the last couple of years, maybe people, out of the fears that we have, perhaps the fear-mongering that have taken place, maybe, as some would allude, we've been grasping at straws. Maybe some have been cemented in their convictions, whether that's religious undertones or scientific analysis. But from your perspective, though, does it matter if one individual feels a certain way and another has a very contrary view?
Sterling,
Mm-hmm.
we can't base our lives on feelings. That's another problem with religion. It's what you feel. It's your faith, and faith is the excuse people give for not having a good reason to believe something, because you can put your faith in anything. You can say I have faith in anything.
Okay, but can I ask, right? And again, this is helpful to me personally. I hope it doesn't offend anybody else, but I appreciate you talking to me. And I don't want to belabor it, and I certainly don't want to consume your time either. But let me ask, have you, on a personal level, as I have at time, I call it a gut feeling. You just got this gut feeling about something, and you follow it. Does that happen to you?
No, I guess I get admonitions about taking certain actions based on knowing the consequences of the action and of having past experience with maybe engaging in certain actions and knowing the consequences of them.
Right. So you admonish for that, but you also have, in addition to those admonitions, do you have premonitions?
No, I don't have that kind of power.
Okay, no. The reason why I'm asking is that sometimes there's some of us, and I think for some of us it's our grandmothers. I don't say that our grandfathers or our fathers or the males in our society, but we always hear about our grandmothers, telling us this and that and the next thing, and I wonder to what extent that sort of practice, and I use the gut instinct, I just feel it in my gut, feel it in my bones, feel it in my spirit, whatever we use in the Cayman context. And when we listen to that, we feel better, and when we don't, we say, boy, I should listen to that. Yeah. And I'm wondering how that plays out in our individual lives.
I guess expressing those kind of those sorts of reactions is just you putting a name on it.
Yes, sir. Okay.
But it's all coming from your mind.
All right. Before we go to the break, any final quick thoughts you want to share, sir?
Well, I guess it's just unfortunate that people are still allowed to use the government airwaves to promote any one particular religion in these islands, and I think that is unfortunate. And then it's even more unfortunate that you're not allowed to pose a question to the people and have them answer as to what do you believe in and why.
Yeah. Well, we all will be
They're not supposed to have to answer all of that and tell me why is it that I should be treated any differently as a human being based on my lack of conviction.
Yeah. Well,
that's all it is.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're sharing, but would it be more unfortunate if not only relative to religious discussion, but political, if a public could not question its government on its public political policies and the like? Would that even be more egregious?
I can't question the government because I have to agree and allow them to promote the one religion in these islands as well, because they use it to help control the people as well.
Yeah. Man. Well, you know what? Maybe it's time that we made an opportunity. You accept the invite to come and sit with us. Not just bring a guitar, but share your individual perspective. Hey, thank you very much, sir. Talk to you very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be nice. It would have been nice to have me in there today with those same folks you had in there. We could have had a little discussion about this.
Who knows, man? Pretty hard enough. Maybe what we asked for, it may materialize. Hey, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Sterling.
All the best, man. See you soon. All right, let's pause and take that short break. When we come back, let's open line. Let's continue the conversation. Stay tuned.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. for medical lab services in Cayman. MedLab.
Look at you, listening to the radio, tuning in, getting stuff done. Total doer. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're getting your oil changed, or grabbing some chicken. Maybe you're doing something that's nobody's business but yours. Hey, that's cool. We're all doing something. Now you can join a whole new community of doers doing more on findyellow.com. With custom search, local experts, and trusted reviews, whatever you're doing, get it done on findyellow.com.
Hey guys, I got a joke for you. What did one ocean say to the other?
I don't know.
Nothing. It just waved.
I don't get it.
An ocean? It waves to another ocean.
Oceans can't wave. They don't have hands.
What?
How would they even see each other? They don't have eyes either.
Seriously, how are you not getting this?
Oceans aren't even alive. Nothing you said makes sense.
With most claims paid within a few days, we're like a friend that doesn't miss the joke. CG Britgay. Good like that.
Capella Music Festival is back, Saturday, April 29th at the Festival Green at Camana Bay, featuring a jam-packed lineup of local performers and international stars. UB40, Coffee, Kez the Band, and Leanne Rhymes. Purchase your tickets now at CapellaMusicFestival.com. Brought to you by Camana Bay, Cayman Airways, Remax, Sandbar, Massive Equipment Rental, the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Ensuring your existing appliances and equipment are cleaned and maintained regularly is an easy way to improve energy efficiency in your home.
Have your air conditioning equipment serviced by a professional. Make sure bathroom and kitchen exhaust fans and refrigerator coils are cleaned regularly, because the harder your appliances have to work, the higher your bills will be.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costyless, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for sharing with us. It is open line as we go to our phones. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
I'm a little bit upset right now. This is Tommy Borden. I can't believe some of what I heard with my ears a few minutes ago by the last caller onto the show. I unfortunately haven't heard anything previous to that, but I did hear what this gentleman was saying. It's hard to believe that. It sounds to me like he's Caymanian, probably lived in the States a while by his accent. But it's hard to believe that a Caymanian could be so far off from knowing what they should be doing or what their end will be. He seems to think that there's only heaven to come when you leave this whole world. What about hell? It's a lot easier to get to hell than to get to heaven, because your normal way of thinking, you're a sinner. If you don't ask God to forgive you and live the life that you should live, heaven will certainly not be your end. But anyway, it's unfortunate for that type of language to be said on the radio that could mislead people. I feel sorry for the gentleman, because I'm sure if he doesn't change his mind, I know where he'll be going. But anyway, that's not why I called. I just feel that it's misleading to the public, and hopefully they won't believe some of what I heard him saying. And I trust that'll be the end of it. I'm not here to entertain no argument with him or anyone else, just stating some facts. So thank you for your time, and I just want to find out his wrong and make his soul right before he leaves this old sinful world. Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much, Mr. Tommy. Thanks. And you know, as both Mr. Tommy and the caller prior was sharing, I thought it was something that someone shared with me many times, and again, as recent as the early hours of the morning. And I wonder if you would allow me to say it, hopefully nobody would be offended. And it's about the story of, two men being shipwrecked on the same island, seemingly being unable to agree. So they divided it up, and one is on one end and one is on the other. And their seemingly discussion and decision is that let's see whose prayers would be answered. And one prays, for something to eat, and the next morning wakes, there's a fruit-bearing tree. He prays for rain and you get water, and it does, and he prays for this, and all his prayers are answered. He's lonely after a period of time, and he prays for companion, and next morning he wakes up, there it is, and then eventually he prays to be rescued, and the next morning there is this passing ship that not only is in a distance but pulls right up to the beach, and he's rescued. And as he gets in, he's only taking what's his and his possessions and with him, and from on high the voice calls out and says, hey, what about you? The other inhabitant on the other end of the island? And the fellow said, well, why should he come along? I mean, his prayers weren't answered. Every time I prayed, you provided, my prayers were answered. And God's voice said, well, think about it, your prayers were answered, but do you know why? This guy only had one prayer every day, one fervent prayer. He only prayed for one thing. And the fellow said, well, what was that? He said, well, his prayer was that your prayers would be answered. Well, makes us think, even though we may read and recite this scriptures, but does it resonate with us? When we hear pray, for our enemies, and we talk about turning the other cheek, and we look at it, I say this to you that I probably don't understand a lot of it. I can certainly appreciate that many of us would look at the behaviors of some of the people who serve as examples, whether it's the parent in the household, or whether it's the leader in the organization, whether it's the business, or whether it's in the government, whether that's elected or appointed, whether it's the church. And we find it wanting. We find it to be woefully inept. We find it to be corrupt and lacking integrity and ethics and the like. Even though we're called to pray for those in position of authority, do we? But are we willing to be an example? And perhaps it's not, that we are, in our minds, saints. We'll probably be quick to acknowledge that we're not, but also are we quick to appreciate and to say that we are truly, sinful. Is there a call? Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, again, sir.
Hey, okay, welcome back, sir. Hello.
Yes, I just wanted to respond to Mr. Tommy. That call of his is just the epitome of what we call religious bigotry. Religious bigotry here in Cayman. You're not supposed to question it. From the day I was born, ironically enough, I attended Brother Reb Arch's church, Church of God Universal, Truth for You School.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm operating through this world, through this life for the past 65 years on the same information that Tommy is operating on. I choose not to believe it because I have no evidence to allow me to believe it. And I see too many inconsistencies. I see too many contradictions in this book they call the Bible. The problem with this Bible is the majority of people haven't read it. And those that say that they have don't really comprehend it. The things in the Bible that are supposedly okay with God are not okay with me. I'm a more moral person than that God in that book. And I can show him every contradiction in that book. I can show him where God is okay with one human enslaving another human. And it's okay to beat the other human. Check Exodus 21 and get back with me, Sterling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, too, sir. Thank you. And let's take this other call. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for sharing.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Sterling, this is your friend Zira. I would just like to say that, listen, I know that God lives. He lives. Because sometimes the thing that God do for me, Sterling, I get so frightened. And you know something? Last year, I've been all the time. I don't want to say this and I don't want to do that because I want to save my soul. You know, I can't tell you, and I'm not lying. You see, God up there, I'm not lying. But God said to me, you can't save yourself, only me can save you. You hear what I say? So I know that God lives because I know, and I'm a nurse and I have had a lot of experience. So I know that God lives. He lives.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
And the next thing, some people, some preachers will like jump up there and got the people them in the congregation going on and crying out and going on. Listen, I always tell them, God is a merciful God. As long as you ask Him to forgive you of your sin, He will. And next thing, first part of this year, I don't know if it's vision I have had, but I can't say everything because maybe I can't take up the time. But anyways, I know that God lived because He first part of this year was early in the morning, and after I done tell everybody these things that come to me, that the spirit is on the earth. You know, the Bible says the dead knows nothing, but when you dying, your spirit leave your body, so you can't have contact with those spirits. And listen, so I find myself dying. You know, I was going down, losing it, going down. I wasn't afraid. And all of a sudden, I said, God, forgive me of my sins. And you know something? I wake up right away. As I said that, I was going near, like if I was dying, near down. And losing it and going down. And when I wake up, I really wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid when I was dying, and I wasn't afraid when I wake up. So I know that God lived because He told me. I could tell anybody, and I don't know how. I can't explain how. But God lives. He lives. And I went to Adventist school, and you know what they say? In Spanish, libre albedrío. Everybody is. He made everybody free to how you say now, to
free to choose,
to pick what they want to do. But we'll stand the consequence because God don't control nobody. He made us, but He don't control nobody. And Jesus died on the cross to save us. None of us are without sin. But if we ask God to forgive us our sin, He will forgive us. So, Jamaica knows they're not bother with it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ay, los Dios. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. With that, let's just pause, take a news break. The phone lines are available if you want to share a thought. Hey, sometimes, if you want to learn, you just need to listen. You want a question answered, you got to ask it. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Cayman Islands reminds the public of the risks to aviation and public safety in general when it comes to the flying of small unmanned craft and firework displays. For any additional information, email civil.aviation@caacayman or call 949-7811. In international news, thousands of people in Sudan say they are stuck at the border with Egypt because drivers are demanding $40,000 to hire a bus to travel across. Only people traveling on buses with special permits can cross the border. Crossing on foot is banned. Clashes between the Sudanese army and paramilitary group the Rapid Support Forces began on April 15th. Hundreds of people have since died and thousands have been injured in the conflict. A new study of the taxidermied remains of a celebrity Siberian husky has revealed the special DNA that helped the sled dog gain international fame. Unlike what the 1995 cartoon film Balto suggests, it's not wolf ancestry that made him so tough. Comparing Balto's DNA to other dogs and mammals, researchers found the Siberian husky's more diverse genes helped him survive the harsh journey better than his descendants would have. In 1925, an outbreak of a deadly bacterial infection, diphtheria, threatened the Alaskan town of Nome. Balto and his team of sled dogs came in, pulling around 20 sled drivers carrying medication for 674 miles as temperatures fell to minus 23 degrees Fahrenheit. News of the historic journey spread quickly, and Balto would later be honored as a character in comic and children's books and films, as well as in a sculpture at the Children's Zoo in Central Park. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road. Yo, they just don't make things like they used to. I could throw my old Nokia into a brick wall and it would bounce back ringing. Today, seems like electronics are made to break, not work. When the gadgets go down, and they will, check out all about electronics in Tropical Plaza, Smith Road, the modern-day Inspector Gadget. Quality, professional repair service. All about electronics in Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Specializing in repair, service, and installation of all electronics. All about electronics in Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Things come up. That's life. But it doesn't mean I can't show up. From a runny nose, stubbed toes, to earache woes, headaches, backaches, and tummy aches. When things come up, Best Health Pharmacy over-the-counter solutions get you back in the game. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor. Best Health Pharmacy, your health, your convenience is their priority. Best Health Pharmacy also offers free prescription delivery anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. Call 949-1301 or WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358.
Ro Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Ro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And it's open line. What is last Friday of the month of April? Wow. Can you believe that? The 1st of May is on Monday. And we're that close, to being always, almost at the end of the year already. The first quarter is come and gone. What are we going to do with what lies ahead? Even though no man is promised tomorrow, we can always look, as I used to think, with hopeful optimism, a sense of hopeful expectation as to what good we can contribute as the time unfolds. Well, 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free if you wish and prefer. Let Flo pick up the tab. They have been generous with offering up the toll free line for those who can access. 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. Use it as you wish. Call us on it if you want. All right. Here's a message that was sent to us This listener shares in relation to the whole discussion. If you heard on Mr. Art's show For the Record this morning, when the Honorable Tourism Minister called in and shared the idea that perhaps the notion of the point system relative to ownership of property and how many points allocated for that would need to be revisited. We heard the same minister also share previously in the week that his understanding that the government's chief legal advisor of the view that whereas what we have now was a system that was sort of, for the most part, from the minister's perspective, promulgated by the private sector. Now, Mr. Connor shared as the chief information officer. He was privy to it and added some clarity. The notion that we are where we are, and everybody who would consciously, confidently, and sometimes in confidence share, whether they're Caymanian of generations or whether they're Caymanian of decades, they are looking towards their PR. We're all cognizant that something needs to happen. Now, is that thing that is going to happen a good thing that leads to continued or even improve social harmony and stability? Is it going to divide us? Is it going to cause us to be disgruntled? And is it going to be a thing that somehow discards, do it with a sense of purpose and a heart of service? It might be just right. Let's take this call and then we read the message. Good afternoon, welcome, thank you for sharing.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. How are you?
Oh, I am, thank God, wonderfully blessed, highly favored, absolutely healthy. Despite the challenges that lie ahead, I still have that sense of purpose and a passion to do right and an unending courage to stand in the gap. And sometimes, whereas I recognized that I was willing to look for a fight because I wanted to take it on, now I'm just willing to defend what is right. Not through might, but through love.
Oh, no, that's right. I hear you.
I tell you, my lady, is always.
I hear you. Thank God it's Friday for you. You too.
I love life, Mom. I love life. I just need to embrace it.
Life is so beautiful, but yet we live so miserable. And people are to ourselves. People say certain things. So I said, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I can make my own self miserable. I don't need about to add that to me or add it for me because I can do it myself. I do a good job. And they laugh at me, say, girl, you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Started, I was trying to listen a bit to the house there on the radio last night, and I didn't know if it was live then or pre-recorded or what it was. But anyhow, I heard piece in regards to school bus and children being dropped off by the parents and so forth, and they're talking about they're going to look into, I guess, the buses that we have on Island now to see if they can get any help, if they have any extra buses that they could help bus children to the private schools. If it can't be done, then they will give them concession to bring in their own bus for their private schools.
Mm-hmm.
Selling is private schools. If you don't have the money, you can't go there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to pay that fee. And I'm not here knocking no school because education is very important to anybody, regardless of where they may be or where they're from or who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Education is very important. So I know that I shouldn't say what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say that anyhow. They can only do me two things. 6 feet or Kevin Brock. Sterling, these private schools, I believe, as far as I can remember, that I don't know all, but when this government makes up their budget, these schools are involved in so much X amount of dollars from the government.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I heard something some time ago, but I can't really say word for word, but I know somewhere down the line they're getting something. Even the rugby, football, they're getting something. They're into their budget whenever they make up their budget for every 2 years or whatever. And say this. To if they does not get the buses that are in Island here that can help, and then away then we're going to give the schools free concession that they can bring on their own bus to have a bus for the school to pick up the kids, so trying to alleviate the traffic here and there. You understand? And then Ms. Julia O'Connor, she said something in this effect that parents enjoy carrying the kids to school because they're having them for that little period of time, driving with them and picking them back up in the evening. Oh, sure, all that is good and really nothing wrong with that. Sometimes even the nannies are driving cars. They talk about that nannies have a car to go to the school to pick up these children.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go to these children that are so accustomed to being driven in a car, and be able to stop at Burger King and Wendy's and Foster's and Hurley's to get breakfast and whatever to go to school, pretty much that something that would be cut out if the parents agree to put them on the bus. They wouldn't have that opportunity no more, or the school has to have more food on the compound to sell them breakfast and snacks and so forth and so forth. So I'm just, I don't know, it's something behind it to the fact that they're not giving the private bus owners the opportunity if they can be of any assistance, how many buses they have and so forth that can be used to bus these private school children to school. But Sterling is more on in a situation. Something is in the making, and they're just trying to be nice to these bus owners out here because they just want the bus owners to ride up against them when they go and give this free concession to let this private school bring in their school bus. Right now, Sterling, government gave every school a small school bus. And believe me, I'll probably get fired for this. Right now, Georgetown Primary has a school bus down there parked up. There's no driver for it. Georgetown Primary had a big yellow bus down there for years. And it just sat there and rust to pieces. And eventually, a lot of people tried to buy it and it was turned down. And I think some others eventually was able to purchase it. Like I said, we got one bus park up. I don't know the other schools got this park up at Georgetown. Primary buses park up there 24/7. It's not being driven by nobody. They can't. They don't have a driver. And that's a very poor excuse not to have a driver to drive that bus down there. You understand?
Right.
So this thing about us going and putting a cap and a Band-Aid on everybody's problem to the government, and I'm looking at the laws here and there, and there's so many people here who needs somewhere to live, who needs a job. You can only make a person go to work if they want to work, Sterling. You understand? And I done say that a lot of these people who are still home with their parents, they're there for a reason, because some parents doesn't want to let the kids go, but yet when they get an argument, you better go look at a job, that kind of way. But they don't mean it. As the child don't come home, they're calling Tom, Dick, and Harry. Do you see my son? Do you see my daughter? And sometimes they'll have the daughter and son in their house and tell the parents, no. Because the child running looking security because the mother just told them, you better go look at your job because I'm going to throw you up. And when things are back to normal again, they all love a double and don't want the child out of the sight. And I see this thing that if mother got legs in water, the child has legs in water. Mother got internet, the child has internet. So what the heck they're going to try to find a job for, or try to, in the sense of phone, they got a helper, or they got someone who comes and cut the lawn. You know what I mean? You're not raising our children right.
I'm listening to you, yeah.
Huh?
We need to rethink our priorities. We need to perhaps have a rethink of not just our education, but our societal values. Perhaps what you're sharing is, are we sufficiently respectful of the resources we have, and are we willing to step up to the plate? I mean, it isn't that the answers are not there. Do we have the willingness to apply ourselves and work together?
So I don't know what the problem is. I think that we have been so passive for so long, so comfortable. We used to share our stuff years ago, gone by. Today now, everybody is fighting everybody next door, fighting you for this and fighting you for that, and they don't speak to you, and they're acting like it's only them on the face of earth. God got your blessing. God got you. He can take you down in a minute. We don't belong to ourselves. We just here for some time. And if you can live decent amongst each other, when are we going to live decent? Are we all everybody know they're going to heaven and we're going to meet in heaven and, oh, I'm so sorry, I did this, I did that? I don't think so. I hope not. I don't want to meet nobody in heaven if they treated me so badly and more come make peace in heaven now. You better make that on earth so we can live comfortable while we're alive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say that. I just say that I didn't listen to all the debate in the House there because some of it is really, I'm not going to use the word. I just leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that nobody's even calling and talking about that degree, but I guess when they get enough of it and get it all finished, all come to an end, I guess everybody come and start running them out.
Mm-hmm.
But we just need to stop fixing about the problem and fix our own people problem. These private schools got money. And 95% of those kids that go into those schools, everybody know who they are and where they're coming from. No disrespect to them and what color they are. No disrespect to the color. I'm not a racist person. I'm not an envious person. I love everybody, but everybody don't have to love me. You understand?
Mm.
But government needs to start putting band-aids on everybody problem that come down on our airport or our cruise ship and me that live here fighting for an ID from public transport from the first part of March, 3rd, and I can't get my ID, so everybody's hand, nobody can contact me, come pick up my ID. They don't know if I eating, drinking, or sleeping, and that's how they got Peter Caymanian.
Mm-hmm.
I am ambassador. I am on a show in Telling the Road, showing my bus that I got Jesus Loves Me, or I got a big banner saying, advertising on Kent for Tom, Dick, and Harry, or his own company who's driving the bus with all kind of stupidness on their buses. That is not tourism. That's not a tourism product. So what are we selling? The bus? Or are we selling the product that when the visitors come here to give them a good, comfortable visit to our island?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? I'm getting kind of heated right now with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Today's Friday. I want to go home happy. You have a good weekend.
Thank you. You do the same. Be safe, be well, be of good cheer. All right, let's pause, take a final break. When we come back, hey, join us.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from May 5th through 12th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean, and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Capella Music Festival is back. Saturday, April 29th at the Festival Green at Command Bay, featuring a jam-packed lineup of local performers and international stars. UB40, Coffee, Kez the Band, and Leanne Rhymes. Purchase your tickets now at CapellaMusicFestival.com. Brought to you by Command Bay, Cayman Airways, Remax, Sandbar, Massive Equipment Rental, the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Attention West Bay residents. The Department of Environmental Health West Bay Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 1st to the 6th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it is easily accessible to DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the West Bay Bulk Waste Collection from May 1st to the 6th, please contact DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. Another Friday. Thank God that we're able to see this week, and trust that as we go into the remainder, it'll be another productive and safe, enjoyable one. And roll around come Monday, the 1st of May, another month begins that will be even more present physically and mentally, spiritually, socially, and otherwise to positively contribute. Well, got time for your call if you want to choose to share a thought with us. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free if you want. 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-32621 and share with us as you so choose. I was thinking of the last callers and wondering to what it would add if I said this, that, or the next thing. But perhaps I should just read what I had promised to read from a listener who shared relative to the question of how we look in from the immigration perspective, the potential impact on our population growth, the societal norms that may have as a result, and the historical significance of our action, and sadly, our inactions. But let's take this call. Welcome, good afternoon, thank you for sharing.
Hey, it's all in me again, buddy.
Welcome back again, man. Always a pleasure.
All right. I couldn't help but listen to my friend there talking regarding the situation they came on with the busing at the school that they passed the bill on. But I kind of see where it comes from, but in a sense, I have to have my doubts on how the government going to provide for the government schools, because in the meeting they said private schools have to provide their own busing for the children, but the government schools have to find their own. Government going to have to find buses for the government schools. I'm kind of struggling with that part when they said that. First of all, who they're going to employ to drive these buses? Once again, Caymanians, are they going to allow Caymanians opportunity to have jobs to drive these buses? Because those buses come with a big responsibility, driving those children. So are they going to put the confidence in the Caymanians now, or here we go again? You see, these are things that I struggle with when I listen to them. To me, Sterling, they're not hearing themselves, but I'm hearing them, and I hope someone else is hearing them. So I'm hoping that this new development they're coming up with, strategies that they're trying to find there for Grand Cayman or solutions, I am hoping that it has a solution to help the Cayman people and not restarting the fire again to have Caymanians out of jobs once more. So just to mention something, what she was saying, I support her with what she's saying, and it's sad to know that other people have not yet called on it, and they should start voice their opinions.
I wonder though to what extent, and if it would be okay to say, recognizing that sometimes people don't always, interpret or understand exactly what you said, and you don't always say it in the way that you thought you said it. But I wonder from the Caymanian perspective, and for Caymanians, however we choose to define that, whether by law or by generation, right? If we're vested in this place, how much are we willing to step up? How much of what is happening in our society we actually know beforehand and are willing to get involved and to appreciate that there's much that we can do, and there's more some of us should be doing. And in the absence of an action, there may be this consequence because of the void, and what is said, nature abhors a vacuum. And I wonder if our people are able to devote the time and the resource to now do what needs to be done in order to continue what we think is a good place to live and to raise our families, and hopefully future generations will be able to enjoy as we did because of the sacrifices of our parents and their parents, and we're willing to do likewise for future generations.
Yeah, I mean, when you stop and think, for people to move to this, let's say we focusing on the issue with the bus having adequate amount of drivers and things. When this whole solution to Cayman come around, people have to have the correct and full mindset in order to set in a position such as a bus driver. You have to make sure that you are focused in life and not just saying you want that position as a job. And a lot of people, there are going to be a lot of people trying to get in on these things that government's starting to implement into the country. But we have to be so careful what we implement, because, like I say, it can start a whole new solution or resolution, I should say, with people hating and holding one another down. Because if I go to a foreign country and I, in a sense, take bread from another person that is from that country, if I take bread from their mouth and their children, there's no absolute way that I can feel comfortable, not knowing that they're going to lash out on me at some time. So it puts me in a position, should I attempt that, or should I sit back and wait till there's no one to fill that void or that position, and then move in on the position? But until the government put things in place where they can lay out this solution to say, listen, these jobs that are coming up are for the Caymanians, and we don't even know how to implement that anymore, saying Caymanians, because they can come from as far as half around the world now. They're Caymanians, so it doesn't matter how far they come from. They're by and I remember the former leader said one time he don't want to hear nobody using this word paper Caymanian. But I'll tell him and tell anybody else, I have the right to use that word paper Caymanians, because this is where I came from. I did not get here by plane. I came here by 9 months of pain. And the government needs to stop and slow down. Listening to those meetings, Sterling, if you ask me, it sounds like they're in a race to get something done for the next year and a half to 2 years. It is almost impossible to solve solution. If they can't solve it in 24 years, they can't solve it in 24 months. It's an impossible route to take. So they should slow down and try to realize, let's get our input from the public and see where we can go help the public, help them, and they help the public back. That is the solution to solving problems. But they tend to want to solve the problem on their own. And this issue with the school buses and things, Sterling, pick it from me, that's going to create a problem, Cayman. it's going to create a problem, Cayman. You can mark my word today. Today is the 28th, 27th, 28th. Write that down. Remember what I tell you. It's going to become a problem. They haven't seen it, but it's going to come. And they need to consider people first.
You know, as you were saying, you know, sort of race, I was thinking about this song by Alabama. You know, I'm in a hurry and I don't know why. You know, the rush, you know, in our lives, so to speak, and all, you know, all we gotta do is live and die, right? I'm wondering if that's the problem. We're in this race, we're in this rush, you know, mad dash and going nowhere. It comes back to, I guess it's my own perspective, but where's the love and unity? You know, where is that sense of community? My friend, I'm reminded that oftentimes I take license and I go over a bit, so let me not do too much more than I've done thus far. Any quick final comments?
I don't want you to lose your position there with that beautiful lady that got you under control. So you take good care of yourself. Tell her goodbye for me, and I'll talk to you next week. All right, Bobo, you take care.
All right, Bo. All the best. Yeah. And for those who are not sure, he's talking about the people behind the scenes who control the board to make sure the program continues. Other than that, I'll stay in my lane just for now. But I invite you to have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable weekend. Maybe 2 quick reminders of things that will unfold tomorrow. The Lighthouse School, the Autism Awareness, you know, day and the activities tomorrow. Join them, be a part of it, support them. And then, of course, the Women of Valor, their basketball program, be a part of it, you know. And one of our listeners says, it's so true what that Braca was saying. Well, let's come together. Let's find a way to make it better. I have much that I may share, hopefully prayerfully and hopefully consciously. But there are things that we find, you know, that our spirit leads us, that we, for whatever reason, find our feet traversing the path that we're quite unwilling. Not unlike Jonah on his road to Nineveh, but maybe some of us believing that we've been imbued with the Spirit, but find out that it comes from a bottle as opposed to on high. Let's see what Monday brings. Have a blessed weekend. God's willing, we'll be a part of a productive one. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.